Hello, this is Dr. Rebecca Wood, and I would like to welcome you to Literature of the African Diaspora. This is our Week 1 lecture. This class will familiarize us with writers of the diaspora from Africa, the Americas, and Europe through the discussion of writings from the 19th century through the present day. And in this course we will read and discuss selected major works of literature written by African writers of the diaspora. This class will be conducted 100% online through Blackboard. There will be a lecture each week posted in both YouTube video and PowerPoint formats. You may read the PowerPoint format lectures at your own pace if you choose. Please read the syllabus carefully and post your introduction to the class on the discussion board as soon as possible. And please make sure to check your SLU email daily for important updates about our class. Each week we will have at least one YouTube video to view to enhance our learning experience. Course objectives include demonstrating familiarity with the history and major literary works from the African diaspora from Africa, Europe, and the Americas, and discuss how those works define and are shaped by their context. We will also work to identify key elements of the African diaspora's literary tradition and explain how major literary figures shaped and were shaped by this tradition. And finally, we will gain familiarity with techniques of reading literature and demonstrate techniques of the textual analysis of literature. So we're going to try to get at the deeper meanings of the literature as well as the surface. For a successful class, please remember that our class officially begins on October 22nd. Week 1 and all of its elements is now available. Please post your introduction to the class on the Blackboard discussion board as soon as possible and no later than 11:59 p.m. Wednesday night. Please read the syllabus carefully, including the course calendar. Students will be expected to participate regularly on the Blackboard discussion board and to complete quizzes, assignments, and the final exam by the deadlines in our course schedule calendar so that you don't get behind. This week's reading assignments include Reversing Sail, Introduction in Chapters 1 through 2, and Things Fall Apart, Chapters 1 through 3. Reversing Sail will give us historical context for what the African diaspora might be and what it is now and what its history was. Great civilizations of Africa include those of Ethiopia, Nubia, and Egypt, and we'll read some about that in Reversing Sail this week. Most of us have already heard of ancient Egypt's pharaohs, pyramids, and the golden sarcophagi. And in addition, stories in both the Old and New Testaments of the Bible can be read with an eye to African history. And one example is the story of the Hebrews' exodus from Egypt, and that is discussed in detail in Reversing Sail this week. Also, we'll discuss the first 3 chapters of Things Fall Apart, and as you read the literary works such as Things Fall Apart, think about elements such as the setting. Where does the story take place? What about the setting makes the story work? How is the setting possibly even a character in the story itself? And then going on to the characters, who are the major and minor characters? You may want to take notes and mark in your book if you bought it instead of rented it about who the major characters are and what are the major plot points. What is going on in the story? And then who is the narrator? Why are they telling this story? Does it tell us in the book? Do we have to figure it out? And then, as I mentioned, the plot, what happens and what happens next. It's a good idea to keep notes of what the plot is. Perhaps you could write a little outline of the plot of the book as you read it, just to make sure you know what's going on, and you can go back to that possibly when you take your quizzes or final exam. And then symbols. What objects are symbols of ideas throughout this story? Are there any yet, or do we have to read more before we become aware of any symbols in the book? Also, theme or themes. What are the main ideas of the work? What is the author really trying to tell us? As we go further into the class, you will be writing essays and papers, and MLA documentation will be required. And so please review the Purdue OWL website for information about writing an MLA documented paper. And there's a link in the lecture here which you will be able to click on in the PowerPoint and go to the Purdue OWL website. The Purdue OWL website has been recently updated and is even better than it was before. Finally, this is the instructor contact information so that you can reach me if you need to. My email address, which is also listed in the syllabus, is right here, rebecca.wood@slu.edu. My cell phone number, which you can text me at or call me. If you do not reach me immediately on a phone call, please leave me a voicemail and I'll call you back within 24 hours. And so it might be better to email or text if you have questions, and I do, again, expect to get back to you within 24 hours. And we can have office hours by appointment if you choose, and please let me know if that is what you would like to do. I hope we all have a great term, and I'm looking forward to working with all of you. Thank you. Bye-bye.